Okay, so very good morning to everyone. Today we are going to start with our fourth lecture, which is on the first law of thermodynamics. In the previous class, we discussed about what is thermodynamics all about, just an introduction of that. Then we talked about what is the state of the system, thermodynamic properties, intensive properties, extensive properties. Then what are the different types of thermodynamic system, which is open system, closed system, isolated system. We also talked about some concept called as control mass, control volume. Then we discussed about a perpetual motion machine of the first kind, in which we said that the perpetual motion machine of the first kind is that which continuously produces work without consumption of energy, which violates the first law of thermodynamics. So first law of thermodynamics is nothing but it is the also we can say that it is a conservation of energy law. That means energy can neither be created nor it can be destroyed, or the basic definition is we can say the conversion of energy takes place from one part to another, and the total energy of the system is always the same. Total energy of the system is same. That means it can be converted from one form to another form. If it is not getting converted, that means it is getting wasted. Okay, so today's lecture outline will be to just introduce the first law. Okay, the first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics. When we say first law of thermodynamics, it is applied to two systems. First is the closed system, and the other is open system. In order to understand the closed system and open system, we will first see what is closed system. So closed system we have discussed in the last class that closed system is also called as a system which will have a system system boundary, and energy energy can go in, energy can go out, but mass cannot go in and out. So mass in, mass.
Sir, some students are waiting out.
Okay, okay, 1 minute. So there is a restriction for mass in and mass out, and that is called as a closed system, right? So you this is being covered in the previous class. So what we will now do is we will first understand understand that how first law is applied to the non-flow system. So you must understand closed system is nothing but a non-flow system. What is non-flow system, by the way? So flow system is when the see this, if I consider if I consider flow system means some portion, some fluid particle, if I say, is going in into the system, and the same amount of fluid system will come out of the system. This is called as an open system. This is called as an open system, or we can say flow system. So this happens for the fluids. So here the transaction of energy also will take place, and mass also will take place. So this is the mass particle going in into the system, and the same amount of mass is going out of the system. The same example of a tank. Okay, it is the same example of a water tank, we can say. So water tank in which the fluid can go inside, the fluid can go outside, that will become an open system. But now we are talking about what? We are talking about first law applied to closed system, or we can say non-flow system. Okay. So by the way, what is the first law says that the algebraic sum of heat transfer is same as algebraic sum of work transfer. Algebraic sum of heat transfer is same as algebraic sum of work transfer. That means algebraic sum of heat transfer is equal to algebraic sum of work transfer. But because it is undergoing a cycle, that is why we can say that algebraic sum of heat transfer in a cycle is equal to algebraic sum of work transfer undergoing a cycle. Or in other words, we can say cyclic integral of change in heat is equal to. So you please remember all these terms because these are very important in your entire lifetime. Cyclic integral of change in work. Okay. So this is the first law of thermodynamics applied to closed system. And here we will write one more part, that is undergoing a cycle. Undergoing a cycle. Very important. Okay. So now you say what is thermodynamic cycle? When the path is fixed and the start and end point are the same, then it is called as a thermodynamic cycle. If you remember, we have discussed this in the previous lecture, that if the path is well defined and the initial and final state of the system is the same, then we can say it is a thermodynamic cycle. If the path is also the same, path of returning is also the same, that means it is a it is a reversible cycle. But if the path is not same, then it is called as a irreversible. Their endpoints are not same, it is called an irreversible cycle. I would like to give example here about reversible and irreversible cycle. Now reversible cycle is, say for example, if I mix oil in water, it is immiscible. But for some moment, it will get mixed. If I stir vigorously, it will get mixed. After some time, at some different conditions, the oil will settle down and water will be, we can easily separate out oil and water from it. That becomes a reversible process. But if I mix sugar in water, sugar will get mixed with water, and then if I want to separate it out, I will not be able to separate out the sugar from water, because now it is become sugar syrup. So it is a irreversible process. Similarly, salt, if I mix, then by evaporation I can collect water and I can get salt back. Yes or no? So that is a reversible process. That means I can do in forward direction also, and I can do it in the backward direction also. Okay, with the initial state being obtained once again. That is called as a reversible process. Is it clear? Okay. So that is the meaning of cycle. Now, when I talk about this closed system, the first law of thermodynamics applied to closed system will give me a result of this. That means all heat can be converted into all work. Okay. Now, if there is a non-cyclic process, if it is a non-cyclic process, right, that means it is not a cycle. First law of thermodynamics for a closed system, but not undergoing a cycle. It is non-cyclic process. See, first law applied to open system will be different. We are talking about only closed system. We are talking about only closed system. So if I write first law of thermodynamics for a closed system, for a closed system undergoing a non-cyclic process. Undergoing a non-cyclic process. So it states that there exists a property called internal energy, whose change is given by difference of heat and work. That means mathematically we can write change of internal energy is equal to change of heat energy and work energy. Okay, this is clear. So if the thermodynamic cycle is applied for a closed system for a non-cyclic process, then it is internal energy. We can call it as an internal energy, and whose change is given by the difference of heat and work. Okay, this is clear. So just keep this in mind that if the system is closed system undergoing a cycle, if it is a closed system undergoing a cycle, then cyclic integral of heat is equal to cyclic integral of work. And if it is not undergoing a cycle, then it is a change of internal energy equal to Q minus W. So here this parameter will give you an overview of the answer to the question why providing the heat will not make the wheel rotate. Providing the heat will not make the wheel rotate. Why? Because now you say that this heat is getting converted to internal energy, change in the internal energy. So the internal energy structure of the material will get changed, the property will get changed, and it will not result into any amount of work. You got the idea? Because it is not a cyclic process, it is not undergoing a cycle. That means you understood what I am saying. If I heat the water, okay, if I heat the water, its internal energy changes. Because of that, the molecule gains the energy and they convert it into steam. But steam, if I condense, that means if I remove that internal energy, I can again get water. So that is a cyclic process. Okay, it is a cyclic process. So if I keep some piston on that hot water, when the steam will get generated, the piston will do some work. So heat is getting converted into work, and some change of internal energy will take place. Okay, but if it is going on in the cycle, then we can get a negative amount of internal energy also, which is rejected. Okay, and then we can get back the heat from that steam. Means if I remove the heat from the steam, it will again get condensed. That is called as a cyclic process. You understood this? Please say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, everyone understood, no? So just remember, if it is undergoing a cycle, then we can have this expression: summation of work is equal to summation of heat. But if it is not going any cycle, it is a non-cyclic process, that means the initial and final conditions are different, then Q minus W will be equal to delta U. This is the first law of thermodynamics. Up till now, you have understood only first law of thermodynamics as it is the conversion of energy from one form to another form. That's it. But that is not the case. When you come to my class, first law of thermodynamics is this. If it is undergoing a cycle, then summation of heat is summation of work. If it is not undergoing a cyclic process, it is a non-cyclic process, then this Q minus or summation of heat is not equal to summation of work, but the difference of that is equal to some property called as internal energy. Now I have told that this is delta U, that is internal energy is a property of system. Okay, internal energy, internal energy is a internal energy is a property of system. How can we prove this? Property of system. How can we prove this? What is the definition of property? Can anybody recall?
Sir, physical state.
Yes, it is able to change the physical state. Okay, from physical state from which can undergo change in state. You know, consider a system is undergoing change of state, and it will have some path. Whenever we say a property and it is undergoing a change of state, it will have some path. Okay, so just imagine that we are having a coordinate system which will be defined by, see, properties are ordinates which will define the state of the system. Yes or no? So we will say that these are the ordinates or coordinates, we can say that, and this is defined by state of 1 to 2. Okay, imagine that the ordinates are defined by 1 to 2 and it is undergoing a change of state. Okay, and this is the path. So from 1 to 2, this is the path. It is changing from 1 to 2 by this path. Let us call this path as A path. Okay, now this is undergoing a cycle or it is a non-cyclic process. Can anybody tell me? 1 to 2 is a cyclic process or non-cyclic process?
Non-cyclic, sir.
Correct, very good. Not non-cyclic process. Now, if it returns to the original position by some different path, which is path B, which is path B. Okay, now 1 to 2 is undergoing a path from A and returning from path B. Okay, now together, path A and path B together, is it a cyclic process or non-cyclic process?
Cyclic.
Cyclic process.
Cyclic process, very good. Why? Because initial state and final states are same. It is going from this path and it is coming back to one by path B. So together A and B becomes a cyclic process, thermodynamic cyclic process. So we can say, right, we can now see and write, okay, that let us consider, apply first law, applying first law of thermodynamics.
Sir, students are waiting outside.
Oh, they are joining too late actually. Okay, so first apply first law of thermodynamics to non-cyclic process, non-cyclic process for path A. Path A. So what will be the non-cyclic relation? Can anybody recall?
Del U is equals to
Correct, correct.
U
Change
minus
of
W.
internal energy of A change of internal energy of A is equal to difference of,
Q
Heat
minus A.
heat
yes,
minus
Q
work.
of A minus W of A. And similarly for path B, I can write change of internal energy of B is equal to Q of B minus W of B. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, together, A and B together, so A and B together forms a cycle. So therefore, we can say, what we can say now, first law applied to a cycle will be summation of Q for the cycle will be equal to all summation of work for that cycle, right? So we can add up for a cycle, we can add up Q of A plus Q of B will be equal to WA plus WB. If I rearrange QA minus WA, QB minus WB like that. So QA minus WA will be equal to minus of QB minus WB. Yes or no? Or we can say now
Yeah.
I can replace this del U of A is equal to minus del U of B. What did this say? If the system is allowed, so let us say this is expression number 3. This is expression number 2. This is expression number 1. Okay. Now,
Sir,
yeah,
sir, why QA plus QB?
summation of cycle, summation of all heat for this cycle together forms a cycle, right? So we are, when we apply first law to this, first law to a cycle, then summation of all heat will be equal to summation of all work. Now summation of all heat for this cycle will be heat supplied by A and heat supplied by B. So it will be QA plus QB. Also summation of work means work done by A plus work done by B. And then we are rearranging the term QA minus QB is equal to minus sign outside. So QB will go this side. So minus of QB minus WB like that. Is okay?
Yes, sir.
Is it okay?
सर सर
Yeah.
ह्याच्यामध्ये ते हीट सोर्स आणि हीट पंपचं पण ह्याच्यातच होतं ना फर्स्ट लॉ आणि सेकंड लॉचं आणि त्याचं इनव्हर्स
No. Don't mix up with the second law because second law is different. Second law talks about source and sink.
हा
Here
हा
there is no source, there is no sink.
हा
Okay,
बरोबर
slowly
हा
and steadily we will go. Second law talks about source and sink. Okay, so there also, so it is a heat pump, reversible heat engine, heat cycle, that is different. Okay, that
हा
is all related to heat and work principle, but second law talks about a parameter which is called as a temperature. So temperature अभी आना बाकी है.
चालेल
Okay.
मला ते जरा आठवत होतं ते कन्फ्युजन तयार करत होतं.
Okay. So don't get confused. This is only simple terms like first law. See, after first law, the temperature concept was known in the scientific community. The first law was formed because there was a heat. Joule, the scientist name was Joule, and Joule conducted the experiment, and they found out that there is a relation between heat and work. Right? Earlier, if you just, it is off track from the topic, but earlier the primitive people, like the primitive people, used to think that heat energy is something physical quantity which is having some magical powers and which moves from one body to another body. Okay, it is a magic. magical power that it happens from one place to another. Now, if I tell you that heat energy is a magic, then you will laugh at that statement. Yes or no? But primitive people used to think that there is something that some jadoo tona is there, which is causing that heat, because at that time fire was not formed, but still you can feel the heat of one body to another body. You can, if you cut the animal, you will feel the heat of that animal when you are cutting it. Yes or no? But the people were not known that this is called as heat. It was later on that you can see thermodynamic is a very we can say young field in the field of engineering and science. Thermodynamics is very young. It is not that thermodynamics is well defined and everyone has understood thermodynamics, and till now research is going on in the field of thermodynamics. Whenever you say rocket engine, whenever you say jet propulsion, all things are related to thermodynamics. Whenever we say particle, right? Now there is a, you see that you are aware that there is a 100-kilometer circle is there, and then there is a particle being that neutron accelerator or electron accelerator is there, and they are finding how the life happened on earth. You know that experiment? Anyone? So it's going on. Okay, so that is also thermodynamic. Whenever we see universe, whenever we see any planet, right, that is all related to thermodynamics, right? Okay, so moving further, if us now let us imagine that this is path A, this is path B. Now let us imagine that if my path 1 to 2 is written by another path, that is path C. Okay, another path, that is path C. So 1 to 2 is done by path A, it is written by path B. We found this relation. If it is written by path C, 1 minute, 1 minute. Okay, so remember that if it is returning by path C, then what will happen? Can anybody tell me what will be the expression if I do the similar thing, that A and C together forms a cycle? Then summation of Q of cycle will be equal to summation of W of cycle B, right? So it will be QA plus QC will be equal to WA plus WC, isn't it? And my final expression will be what? What will be my final expression? So we will write if the system is allowed to return from state 2 to 1 from path C, instead of B, then what will happen? Delta U of A will be equal to minus of delta U of C, isn't it? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then what we can predict now from 3 and 4? We can say from 3 and 4, we can say delta U of B is equal to delta U of C. Okay. Then what did this shows? This shows that what is this shows? This shows that the change of, so the change of internal energy is independent of path. Independent of path, and it depends upon only, and it depends upon end states. So if a parameter depends upon only end states and it is not depend upon the path, it is called as a point function. It is called as a point function. It is called as a point function. That is why it is called as a point function. The property which depends upon only end conditions is called as a point function, and that is why it is also a property of system. Hence, it is a property of system. Right? Is it okay? And what was the definition of this?
Yes, sir.
Any observable macroscopic characteristic of a system by which its physical condition may be described is called as the thermodynamic property. Is called as a thermodynamic property. Right? Now, I would like to ask whether you are maintaining a separate book for this thermodynamic, for a separate book you are maintaining.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So whatever we discuss in the class, and what if you can see, I have also uploaded the previous lecture on the classroom. So those who are not on classroom, please join the classroom. You are having the link for the classroom.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
I had posted it in the group, so please refer that. Okay, correct. Okay. So now what we will do is we will move further. We will move further, and then we will start with now the different thermodynamic properties, thermodynamic process actually, or non-flow system. So what is non-flow? Closed system. Is it okay? In that, the first
Yes,
part, yes, the first part will be constant volume process. It is also called as iso isochoric process or isometric process. Right? These in some books it is also called as a PV relations, or we can say PVT relations. Right? So we will now start with this. How to show the PV diagram for this? The PV diagram. PV diagram means what? It is a P versus V diagram. P versus V diagram. Is it okay? P versus P diagram. How to show the process? So by the way, what is the process? If the path is clearly defined, it is called as a process. So path A and path B, or we can say we can start with point 1 as a property which is defined by these properties of P, and these are the thermophysical properties, pressure and volume. So if the pressure and volume is fixed, it is shown by the state of the system. So this first is the state of the system. So what will be the other state for a constant volume process? It will be which line? Horizontal line, vertical line, inclined line?
Sir, vertical line.
Correct.
Vertical.
Yes. So it is a vertical line. It is a vertical line, and this will be my point number 2. So this is constant volume process from 1 to 2. So what is changing now in constant volume process? Volume will remain same because it is constant volume. So only pressure will change from P1 to P2. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now B part. What is the P V T relation? You know that universally we write P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. Yes or no? So if the volume is same, V1 and V2 are same, then we can write P1 by T1 is equal to P2 by T2. Yes or no? So
Yes.
if there is a constant volume process, then we get this relation. P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P1 by T1 is equal to P2 by T2. Isn't it? Are you getting the idea?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is very simple. Already you have done. C part, work transfer. Work transfer. On this, small numericals will be asked. So you should be ready for that. If the process will be given, not just one process, but it will be. So if it is a closed system, what is the thing that is not changing? Volume is not changing, right? So what we will give for work transfer, work done from 1 to 2 will be equal to summation of or integral of 1 to 2 P dV work. P dV work. Yes or no? Why P dV work? Because when we say that if we have a container like this and we have a volume inside this, if I heat this, that means I am putting the heat transfer in this. What will happen? Volume is remaining fixed. Whether the piston over here, the piston on placed on this water, whether that piston will move or it will not move.
Move.
It will not move, no, because it is a constant volume. Volume is not changing. Only pressure is changing. Yes or no? So if pressure is changing, volume is not changing, there will be no work done. Work will only be done when there is a displacement, and displacement will only occur when the volume changes. Yes or no?
Yes.
Right? So here, as dV is equal to 0, then we can say there is no work done. Work done is also 0. So work transfer is 0. Then D part, heat transfer. What about heat transfer? Whether it is a, whenever we say thermodynamic process for a non-flow system, the constant volume process is cyclic or non-cyclic. cyclic or non-cyclic?
Sorry,
Sir,
sir, didn't
non-cyclic.
got your question.
Sorry,
Sir, question एक बार वापस बोलना समझा नहीं.
the question is constant volume process. Constant volume process is a cyclic process or a non-cyclic process?
Sir, non-cyclic.
Non-cyclic, correct. Because if I apply any energy to this system, it will not come back to its original point. Barabar? Yes or no? It is non-cyclic process, and for non-cyclic process, I apply first law of thermodynamics as delta U equal to Q minus W. But what is Q? Here we can find out Q1 to 2. Q1 to 2 will be equal to delta U1 to 2. Why? Because W is equal to 0. And that is why Q1 to 2 will be equal to delta U is given by M constant pressure Cp. No, here it will come Cv because it is constant volume process, not Cp. It is a constant volume process. So it will come M Cv, and what will be change of temperature, that is T2 minus T1. Okay. So this is okay. Then the E part.
Yes, sir.
So for all processes, we tend to find out this. For all the processes, we tend to find this. PV diagram, PVT relations, work transfer, heat transfer. Okay. All these things we try to find out. Okay. Heat transfer, then here it will be delta U, that is internal change in internal energy. Change in internal energy can be given by definition, delta U will be equal to M Cv T2 minus T1. Then F part, delta H, that is change in enthalpy. So change in enthalpy is given by H2 minus H1. Okay. By definition, what is the definition of H? What is the definition of H? So for understanding the definition of H, just I will tell you one thing. Okay. Just remember this. Let us consider now we are considering a flow system. Okay. Consider a flow system, and this is the control volume, and this is a fluid element. Fluid element. Now what will happen? Whenever the fluid element will pass through the control volume, this will be called as a flow work. This will be called as a flow work because it is now flowing, right? Flow work. See, we are trying to understand what is the definition of enthalpy here. So enthalpy will come only for flow work. It will not come for the non-flow work. It will only come for flow work. So in case of open system or flow system, mass enters or leaves the control volume. Mass will enter and it will leave from this side in a control volume for a open system. Therefore, some work is required to push this. Some work is required to push this. Let us say that this is the piston which is pushing this. Okay, this is pushing it. This is the piston that is pushing this control volume, or we can say the fluid element. This is the piston that is pushing the fluid element in this direction. If it is pushed from here, some part of the control volume will come out from the other side. Yes or no? That is called as a flow work, and it is necessary for maintaining a continuous flow. It is necessary to maintain a continuous flow. So if I say that force is equal to pressure into area, and what is work? Work is equal to force into displacement. Okay, then what we can write for W? P into A into L. Is it clear? So for flow work to take place, what I will write? P into V. Yes or no? Area into length will be volume. Yes or no? Area into length will be volume. So for flow work, the relation becomes P into V for flow work, and this is denoted by kilojoule. If I want to write kilojoule per kg, then I will replace V by specific volume. V by specific volume, that is kilojoule per kg. Right? And if I want to write down as per vector, then P into this volume flow rate, that is kg per second. So it will become kilojoule per second. So kilojoule per second is kilowatt. So that is why whenever we talk about any power or force or work, we say that work done by this motor is 20 kilowatt. So kilowatt is nothing but kilojoule per second. This is understood now? It is okay?
Yes, sir.
So whenever we say that what is enthalpy from this point onwards, so it is defined as, so enthalpy is defined as sum of internal energy of the system plus flow work. So you see, this is similar to the definition of delta U is equal to H minus W, yes or no? Or Q minus W. This Q is also heat, but it is the heat of enthalpy. It is the heat of enthalpy. Whenever we burn something, if internal energy is not associated, it is called as a heat energy. But if the heat energy is there, okay, heat energy is there, and that is causing the change in internal energy, also it is causing the flow work to take place. If the combination of change of internal energy also change of work, then this will be called as a enthalpy. Heat energy will be replaced by enthalpy. And if I want to write down specific enthalpy per unit mass basis, then it will become U plus P into specific volume. Okay? And H is a extensive property. Why extensive property? Because it depends upon size. Yes or no? This fluid element, if it is bigger, then enthalpy will be bigger. If it is lesser, then enthalpy will be lesser, and so on. Okay? So H is extensive property and small h is a intensive property, independent of mass. Okay, right? So in the today's session we will stop here. See, even though university has prescribed that module 1 should be of 3 hours, I don't feel it is justified, because whatever thermodynamics cannot be learned in 3 hours, that too first module. So do you agree? So even if it requires to take extra lectures, I will take extra lectures for you, but the concept should be clear. We will go very slow and steadily, but all our concept must be clear. Okay, so we will just summarize what we have done today. We have just introduced the first law of thermodynamics for closed system and open system. For a closed system, the equation is applied to two parts, that is undergoing a cycle, then cyclic integral of Q is equal to cyclic integral of W. Then if it is undergoing a non-cyclic process, then delta U, that is change of internal energy, is equal to heat energy minus work energy. Then we talked about what is internal energy. Internal energy is a property of system. How? Because it is independent of the path. It depends upon only end states. And then we introduced what is enthalpy. Enthalpy is similar to internal energy, but it is the sum of internal energy plus flow work. If this is flow work, what will be the other type of work? One is flow work, the other will be, anybody?
Steady work.
One is flow work. Work can be defined as flow work. Flow work, that is denoted by WF. It is also denoted as shaft work. Shaft work. Shaft work means what? Any fluid material is flowing? No. But still there is work. Yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
So this another part is shaft work. Whenever we see fan rotating, it is a what kind of work? Shaft work. Water flowing from the tank, what type of work? Flow work. Wind turbine, what type of work?
Shaft work.
Because of air it will be flow work, and because of the fan rotating it will be shaft work. So flow work getting converted into shaft work, and there is no transfer of heat. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So with this we will stop, and you see that you try to look at around your in the surrounding, whether I will be able to define this heat energy into heat energy and enthalpy, and work energy into shaft work and flow work. That is your activity. तो आज पूरे दिन में, in the entire day, you try to find out that this heat energy is a form of internal heat energy or internal energy, or heat energy or enthalpy, and work is a form of flow work or shaft work. Will you do it? And if you find out, you can post it in our group, official group. Okay, post करो कि सर मैंने ये फाइंड किया कि ये जो काम है, what the work is happening is it is a form of flow work and this is a form of shaft work. Okay, I will be very happy to see your responses. Is it okay? You will do it for me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, I'll just quickly take the absenteeisms. I guess only 2 people are absent. Who are those? Two people are absent. You are not familiar with the names?
No, sir.
Okay, no problem.